strong tax system is now being implemented in UAE.
Big traders is going to be impact the e-commerce as well, or it's going
Ultimately, it will be impacting every other business, of course. This whole transformation is leading the accountant's role into a different direction.
their role is going to be changed. It is more toward strategic position. It's more toward an analysis. It's more towards being on a leadership role.
How you working these days on implementation of CaseWare within our practice, how it has been implemented, and how does it actually support your department?
This is not just one aspect. We have to have multiple aspects.
Because UAE is planning to connect the overall system or implement the system with which we call a pan-European public procurement online.
If you see between 2014 to 2024,
10 years, right?
10 years period, it's 50% increase in the prices.
Yeah.
Traders who are
Correct.
doing the import or export, or who are doing transshipment, or so these all things related to trade. What do you think?
I think this, you have rightly said that not only just one part, of course, AI is becoming another important part of UAE's economy, right? Dubai has the strength, they have the security, they have the trust, which actually leads to the more and more or higher level of investments. What do you think that how many properties are going to be becoming finished and handing over will be there in 2026? Hello everyone. So welcome to another exciting episode of UAE as a Business Goldmine. We had a previous session with one of the premium and prominent authorities of Sharjah, which was Shams Free Zone. Media City, as kind of known for their name. We had very exciting discussion with them. I'm sure you guys must have actually learned a lot of things from there. And there was a lot of discussion about the licensing, the types, and everything. And we both, Omar and myself, we actually asked a lot of questions to the representative of the authority. So welcome again, and I'm Saqib, as always, your host, and with my brother Omar.
Hello everyone. Let's have another session, and we are very much hopeful that it's gonna be quite beneficial and informative for you guys.
The year 2026, what we should expect. So this is what we are going to identify today, right? All the residents, all the investors, the business owners, the non-residents who are coming from outside, new regulations coming up, of course.
Yeah.
And our focus should be actually just to discuss about the the positives of 2026, and to actually give you the the list of opportunities that what you should actually focus on when it comes to the business opportunities, of course, and anything related to that. And plus, there is a more important thing which we were discussing, that was the e-invoicing, right?
Yes, exactly.
So e-invoicing is coming up in 2026. Now, our focus of discussion today is going to be around
Starting with
absolutely
the
with that.
invoicing
Yes.
thing, which is coming on 2026.
Correct. Yeah.
June 2026 is the time when it is getting implemented actually. And
Yes.
It's one of the things who's going to change the dynamics of the doing the
Absolutely.
business,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
documentation
Absolutely.
and legal requirements. It
Absolutely.
will impact on multiple areas, not just the e-invoice as a sale,
Yeah.
but definitely the other areas of your business as well.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
and a very good step towards the automation. A very good step towards the automation. So let's discuss in detail on that part.
Now, it will actually fundamentally, completely reshape the economy of UAE in 2026. Yeah, I think let's jump into further discussion, right?
So e-invoice, Mr. Sak, what do you think e-invoice? Let's go step by step. Let's go in a little bit nitty-gritty. E-invoices. So while you're going to do the e-invoices, it means all your sales invoices will be channelized through an automation system. Linked to a government system as well. So what do you think that how acceptability towards the industry of that e-invoicing is, and how oftenly people are talking about it?
Absolutely. I think this is really important for all the businesses to understand that how e-invoicing would impact their business in 2026. And this is the reason actually we wanted to have this discussion today. What UAE is going to actually do is not just having one simple implementation of e-invoicing or electronic invoicing kind of a criteria. Of course, it is going to actually completely digitalize the overall structure and the connectivity of businesses, all the transactions to be reflecting into the system of the government, right?
Exactly.
What UAE is going to actually do is called the five corner model, which is the latest approach in terms of digitalizing the system, which is, of course, there are many other countries which are actually doing
They are following
the
it
similar
already.
with a similar approach. But that does not mean that it is not going to take a lot of time in UAE to be implemented, because we know from our experience, when
Yes,
they
exactly.
actually have decided to implement, it will be implemented. So
Exactly.
there is not going to be any exception to that. Now, the point is that how does it impact? Of course, there are multiple stakeholders when it comes to these kind of e-invoicing transactions. This five-corner model will actually be implemented, and this will kind of help and support the overall structure for doing that e-invoicing in a real-time basis, or maybe near to real-time basis, of course. You do the transaction, it will be reflecting into the system on a real-time basis. This will actually have a straight impact on the relationship between your supplier, your customer,
Customer, right.
and also the other stakeholder, which is FTA, of course.
So that five corner model, how we can elaborate the five corner model, how it is covering, and what are the areas it's covering?
So the corner one is your supplier, which actually provides the data to the accredited service provider. So this is which issues the e-invoice to you. So that is called the corner number one. And of course, the corner number two, after completion of the or issuance of the invoice, once the invoice is issued by the supplier, then the corner number two is the ASP, which is the accredited service provider of your supplier. Now, the data will be then verified by that ASP, and then it will be then shifted and updated with FTA, Federal Tax Authority. So that is the corner number two. And then if we move to the corner number three, that is the buyer's ASP. The ASP means, again, the accredited service provider of the buyer. So once the data has been moved to that third level, then that ASP then becomes responsible to update the system of FTA and Federal Tax Authority. And then it comes to the corner number four. That corner number four itself is the buyer. So he becomes responsible then to update the data into the ERP system. So he needs to reflect that invoice into the ERP system. So that is corner number four. And then finally it comes to the corner number five, which is the Federal Tax Authority and the Ministry of Finance, which actually becomes the final corner in terms of verifying the data and actually just reflecting into the system. So, of course, that is also a major stakeholder of the whole system, of course, right?
picture,
Which is
yes,
leading this
exactly.
whole system. So, that is called the five corner approach. So, it's the supplier, then supplier's ASP, then buyer's ASP, then buyer, and then fifth is, of course, the Federal Tax Authority. So the whole system will actually be in a real-time basis. It will be completely acting in real-time basis. Once the invoice is issued by the supplier, moves on to the system of the buyer, and then it actually gets reflected in the FTA's portal, which means you are not going to actually have any sort of reconciliation problems, any sort of issues within within the system. So everything will be reflected onto your system very quickly and very smoothly, and you will actually so the only corner or the leg which you actually of the transaction you need to actually just focus upon, because ultimately the input and output is all getting solved over there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Ultimately, if you actually get missed with any other sort of invoice, so that you need to actually do the reconciliation maybe, and you have to reflect that onto the system. So this is how it is going to actually impact the overall business and the approach to the business, of course, in the future.
Exactly. This is really informative. It means it will directly impact your value-added tax, calculation
Absolutely.
of that one, reconciliation of that one, input, value-added input tax, output tax. So everything will be streamlined.
Everything will be streamlined.
Through that system.
Yeah, that's
so I believe most of the things, most of the reconciliation are already digitalized, and it will
Correct.
be.
Yeah,
So the impact on the like business transactions and the cash flows, and how it will impact. Is it making something slower as usual, or it will?
No, it's not going to actually. Of course, it looks like a compliance requirement, right? That you have to follow this
Follow the
requirement from the
requirement.
FTA side.
Exactly.
But the overall impact of this e-invoicing would definitely extend, beyond the compliance kind of a thing. Now, how we need to understand that whenever you actually lose any sort of track of your invoices, and definitely you lose the adjustment. For example, if you have paid money for against some invoices, you lose the track of that invoice. That means you are losing the money against which you actually were able to, or you were supposed to claim, or you were actually entitled to claim that expense. But you are not doing that. But in this case, once the whole structure is kind of implemented, you are not going to actually miss one single invoice. So ultimately, you are going to have the positive cash flow. That this is one
Exactly.
important aspect of like doing business within UAE and within these kind of digitalized economies. So of course, why not that tax systems has to be digitalized more, right?
Exactly.
Which will
Exactly.
actually support the local economy and the businesses. So a lot of burden of compliance and reconciliation will be
Is be
then
shifted
completely removed.
and it is
Absolutely,
automated.
it will be
So it
automated.
means that the life of professional accountants is also going to be a change.
And not only the life, the lifestyle of
The
the professional
lifestyle of
accountants,
professional
of course.
accountant, and I
Absolutely.
believe the professional accountant is one of the key
Key
stakeholder as well
stakeholder,
as in
absolutely.
that one. They have to
Absolutely.
have
Absolutely.
very keen on that one, and they have to read through the whole law on that one,
Absolutely.
and they have to understand it in a detailed manner. I
Correct.
believe the accountant should be keep an eye on that one, whatever the existing law and whatever the changes in upcoming.
Absolutely. You look from every business perspective, what is the bone to the cash flow? What is that is the receivable and payable, right?
Payables, yeah, exactly.
So if it is completely being streamlined in a way,
In a way.
so of course your focus will be then more on recovering the money instead of reconciling and doing the stuff or
Exactly.
compliances, right?
Exactly.
So this is really important, of course.
Being a trade business or international trade business, because UAE is a trade hub,
Absolutely.
and what we are forecasting, there is one major impact is going on the traders who are
Correct.
doing the import or
Correct.
export, or who are doing transshipment, or so these all things in related to trade. What do you think, which are the major impacts, or what do you think, is there any specific thing which are related to the trader specifically? Is there anything which they keep in mind for invoicing?
So, of course, it is going to heavily impact those international trading businesses, which are importing, which are exporting, and doing the international trade with the a lot of outside country suppliers or customers. How does it going to affect, of course, because UAE is planning to connect the overall system or implement the system with which we call pan-European public procurement online. And
Pan European
pan-European
public
public
procurement
procurement online.
online.
So it's a
Okay,
network,
okay.
which is an international network, which is kind of connected with multiple countries, and a lot of countries have implemented this system to actually share the data internationally and
Across the
within
borders.
across the borders exactly, and that will actually impact how it is impacting, of course. A lot of misconceptions, misplacements, or like a lot of data missing kind of a thing will be completely eliminated, of course. And the higher level of compliances would be there, where the clients where they're facing the compliance related issues. So ultimately, they are going to have this
Sort this
positive
down.
impact, of course. Yes.
So the trade, it means not the local one, but the international trade one also gonna be in line with that one. And
Correct.
importer who is sitting inside the UAE, he that person or that business have the burden of proof to prove all those things, prove the
One
data.
thing is burden of proof for the importer and exporter, of course, is one thing, but ultimately, the largest from the largest scale perspective, the data sharing on the global scale will be completely quick, and it will
Okay.
be scaled up to that level that the country would have the real time data of trade of one client, one customer for connected businesses within UAE, outside UAE. So of course, it is going to have
So that's going to be having a very good positive impacts on
absolutely,
the economy
absolutely,
overall,
absolutely,
as trading is one of the key business of UAE,
absolutely.
and that much confidence, when they plug in with that much confidence internationally, and having that much complex and acceptable systems over here, definitely it's going to have very positive
Not
impact,
only this, but ultimately, before people used to say it's a tax haven,
which is not
which is
actually.
not actually now,
Yeah.
right? So there are taxes, there are robust, strong tax system is
Exactly.
now being implemented in UAE, and now the next stage where UAE is actually kind of connecting the overall economy or trade economy of UAE
UAE.
and actually connecting it with the overall larger global economy of trade by implementing these kind of systems, of course.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, do they have any specific? This is, we are talking about the big traders and the trading companies. Is going to be impact the e-commerce as well, or it's going to be
Ultimately, it will be impacting every
every
other
business?
business, of course. So anyone connected with the trade between like those countries which already have the system, so there the sharing of data,
Data.
invoices, bill of lading, packing list, and all that kind of stuff, which is trade related data. So that will be completely online. It can be shared really, like seamlessly from one country to another and one system to another. So it's going to be like a digitalized system, of course.
Being accountant, again, the brain is pop up that one. Being an accountant, the transformation of the role of accountant is going to happen in 2026. An accountant have to play a very key role,
Correct.
and their nature of job may be a little bit different after
Correct.
that particular time. But what I believe, it's not gonna be very quick one. It's not, the change will not gonna 100% implemented overnight. It will take
Correct.
some time for the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
acceptability
Absolutely.
and for the industry and all those things. But it is a very positive thing which gonna
It
happen.
is because ultimately we used to talk about accountant's role on three different stages and levels. We always used to discuss this, which used to be recording, summarization, and reporting, of course, right? But ultimately, a lot of recording related aspect of
Aspect
accountant is getting
will
completely
be
eliminated
eliminated.
now,
Yes,
even in the future. That is not just because of one thing, of course.
another.
ERPs, kind of started in the early 2000s, and then gradually a lot of databases and the stuff and new softwares came into the picture, and now it is actually getting eliminated because of the AI. For
AI,
example, yesterday
plug-in
we were
of
having
AI
one
with
of
the
this
ERP.
discussion with one of our clients. So he's
Yeah.
bringing the AI
Yeah,
suit
exactly.
for the accountants, by the way, where a lot of the data entry kind of stuff will be completely eliminated from their like stuff. And now this is one part, of course, but then when it comes to the summarization, when the data can be entered ultimately into the systems through very generic softwares. So ultimately, it can actually do the summarization job. It can do the reporting job as well, right? But where accountant is actually going or leading this, like this whole transformation is leading the accountant's role into a different direction. So the compliances is more important now. So the
Exactly.
accountants has to focus on the compliance part. They need to focus on the overall directional role. They need to focus on the leadership role, right? They need to more focus on understanding the overall business idea and the structure of business.
Exactly.
Now the accountant is not only about the accounting
Accounting,
department
they are
or the
they are not.
finance department. They are actually now part of the operations. They are part of the overall strategy of the business. They are part of the overall strategy of the marketing, advertisement, business development. So when it comes to the accountant's role, it has been completely changed. And of
Change.
course, with this e-invoicing, with this new strategies coming up and new systems being implemented, of course, now the overall role of the accountant is actually focused now more into UAE. If we only talk about UAE as at the moment, so taxes has completely changed.
Change.
They have
Exactly.
now given the opportunity to the accountants to learn more and to do more, of course, for the
Exactly.
local economy and for their businesses where they are working, of course.
So the accountants should understand that their role is going to be changed.
Absolutely.
It is more toward strategic position. It's more toward an analysis. It's more towards being on a leadership role.
Correct.
And accountants can be a very good leader as well, because they are having the key data,
Correct.
historical data. They
Correct.
know the trends, they know those things, so they can be proven a very good leader of the business as
Correct.
well.
Absolutely.
So is the transformation of the nature of the job.
Look at your side, for example. If I ask you that how you working these days on implementation of CaseWare
Yeah,
within our
exactly,
practice,
exactly.
how it has been implemented and how does it actually support your
Yeah, exactly.
department?
That is a very key aspect. When we bring in that one, the caseware thing, it's making our life easy. Yes,
Correct.
initially it's taking time to implement everything. It's taking time to make fixing things according to
Correct.
the need, according to the local laws,
Absolutely.
according to the local compliances, local formats. Because we are not dealing when we are going for financials or financial statements, it's not just one thing. You have to look into multiple, like companies law, you have to look into that one.
Correct.
Ministry of human resource, like labor laws, you have to look into that one as well, because
Correct.
they are linked with the some of the benefits for the employees. Then you have to look in to the taxation laws, corporate
Correct.
tax or the VAT laws. Then you have to look into the multiple other aspects as well, which are giving a lot of plugins while you're doing the financial IFRSs.
Correct.
If it is an SME, then the small and medium enterprises reporting standards, you have to follow that one. So this is not just one aspect. You have to have multiple aspects. But when you plug in most of the thing through the software, which is having all those thing at one place, initially it took time, but ultimately it's quite beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
So we having a very good experience on
Absolutely.
that one.
No, I think this is one part, but ultimately a lot of other stakeholders, for example, from e-invoicing perspective, coming back to that discussion, if we go back, and we understand that how this is getting impacted. Of course, the businesses should be understanding they need to, they must be actually using those softwares which are kind of like integrated with the overall databases
Exactly.
and ESPs, right, which we discussed, and they need to choose the right IT provider or ERP provider for their businesses. This is number one
Yes,
aspect,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
The number two aspect is that the overall IT providers or the ERP providers, they also need to completely shift their focus, and they need to change, make some changes within their systems and overall the way they actually, their systems actually work. And then, of course, the overall infrastructure of within the business, of course, that also need to change. Now, this completely, there is a hard line of 2026, the mid of 2026. This
Exactly.
is going to be implemented, of course, and this whole digital transformation within the companies and outside the companies, of course, it will actually have the impact. So, Umar, one important aspect which I wanted to mention here, that this is not going to be, of course, like a big bang kind of a concept when it comes to e-invoicing implementation, right? So, of course, the government will actually give some phased structure or the implementation method, because ultimately, a lot of businesses where they have some different level of needs, they have different level of structures, of course.
Exactly.
So, this is important that it is not going to be like
Overnight or
overnight or it has to be like cut off. No, it's not going to be. Of course, there are going to be, it's going to be a phased level of implementation. Probably they will actually allow us to use the traditional methods alongside
alongside.
with this e-invoicing thing, or maybe like for some businesses, maybe it is going to be like straight away, straightforward implementation on one particular date. So, Omar, if I may ask you that, based on your experience, personal experience, how do you actually foresee 2026? Is it going to be like again the real estate year?
Yes, it will be a key factor. Definitely, it will be. If we look into the growth, if we look into the words the increase in the price in last 10 years, like if you see between 2014 to 2024,
10 years, right?
10 years
Okay.
period, it's a 50% increase in the prices,
Yeah.
and everyone knows it's supply and demand. So it shows there is a high demand, and high demand. That's why it's resulting into increase in the prices, and we can forecast that one 2026 as well, because of the interest of the international investor, and a lot of people making Dubai as their second home. They are buying directly, the ease in mortgage and all those things, they're playing a very vital role
Of
in
course,
that
the
one.
financial institutions are also becoming very
Exactly.
aggressive in giving these
The
mortgages so that
mortgages,
they can support the first home buyer. So, least recently, government has launched,
the
rolled out
the
first
first
time
home.
home buyers kind of
Exactly.
a plan, which actually supports the buyers where they never actually had or they never owned a property before in UAE. So, this is going to be another important
Another
stepping stone for those who actually want to actually become part of the ownership or the club of
exactly.
owners club of UAE property, of course.
Exactly.
Now, this is one important aspect. You rightly mentioned that the growth was there, but in 2026, what do you think that how many like properties are going to be part becoming like finished and handing over will be there in 2026? Because what we have seen is people come to us and they sometimes discuss that there are going to be a lot of inventory available in 2026 and 2027. We are not realtors, I know that, but
Yeah.
ultimately what I see personally from one aspect as a completely independent person's aspect, right? When I look at the economy, I feel like when we are discussing with the international buyers, they are interested in buying the properties and they are always there. So yesterday, even for example, one of
Exactly.
our client from UK, right? He was actually telling us that okay, this much of money, still it is cheaper than London,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So when they actually compare the
And
piece of property in Dubai with London, they still feel like it is still there is a lot of room in terms of value of the property, right?
exactly.
And they gets interested immediately. And when they look at the overall ROI or return on
That
investment
is the
from the
very
rental perspective, that also makes them interest.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that,
exactly.
okay, why can't we actually have 10% or 15% of rate of return
Rate of
every
return.
year and without paying any tax? That is something
Exactly.
which actually kind of interests them. But ultimately, Dubai is doubling the population. That is also going to
That's a
support, right? Now, if we only look at the 2026 growth rate, the most important part, which we feel like, is that the central bank is very aggressive in terms of like giving the projection of GDP, which
exactly.
shows that the economy is there where they have the strength. The economy has that level of strength, right?
Exactly.
That's why the financial institutions are actually, or the overall stakeholders have the trust in this economy and giving the higher level of projection, right?
Yeah.
That this is going to happen. 5.4% in 2026. That is
That is
the
the forecast.
GDP forecast for 2026, and that has been being discussed. Now, this is going to show that the overall post-COVID economy growth, right? That economic growth is showing that every year the economy is actually moving
Moving towards the
towards the higher level. It is not only just getting the overall. It's becoming the center of discussion within the
yes, yes, yes,
Middle Eastern
yes,
markets.
exactly, exactly. It is, it is. Other than that, even the AI, new business, AI
Correct.
based businesses, services industries, trading industries, we are seeing the growth in every sector. Um, all the big players are jumping over here to be there as a hub, as a central office to trade between Europe and Asia.
Correct.
So these are the key factors which are bringing a lot of interest, and this e-invoicing thing as well. It will bring a lot of trust and credibility of UAE as an economy. So I believe that's also going to be a very positive impact.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this you have rightly said that not only just one part. Of course, AI is becoming another important part of
Yeah.
UAE's economy, right? AI. What do you think that how like people are becoming businesses trying to base themselves related to AI, of course. Yesterday we had this client came in and he was discussing
Yes.
about this AI platform. So he chose Dubai to
To
actually
actually.
getting his the fund raised for his new platform.
Yes.
Now, the good idea is that, of course, the good thing about this overall structure is that people have the trust and faith because they know everyone follows the money, right?
Exactly.
So that comes to Dubai,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
Why? Because Dubai has the strength, they have the security, they have the trust, which actually leads to the more and more or higher level of investments.
And a very good business environment for the startups. We
Absolutely,
discussed in one of the podcast about the DSO, the
correct,
startups and all those things. There are
correct.
facilities are
Yeah,
there
yeah,
for the startups, IT startups, and
absolutely.
so this a lot of factors are there to support
Yeah.
this 5.4% increase in GDP. That there are a lot of factors which are letting us believe that one it is going to be achieved.
No, I think it is important. Right? Our idea for today's discussion was to actually bring the attention of people or businesses to the e-invoicing implementation, which we successfully did, I'm sure. And it's not about like scaring away people. It's about like getting them ready
Ready.
and supporting like
Exactly.
our viewers and listeners to actually getting ready for the upcoming important aspects. And this is why we both are here, right?
Yeah.
So I think let's wrap it up for today, and for next episode, let's create some interest for the our listeners that we are actually bringing another exciting
Exactly.
opportunity in terms of the discussion and listening to the discussion with one very big important guy from one of another different authority, of course. So we will actually keep you posted around that,
Sure.
and
Yeah, we will.
let's stay in touch and keep listening to our podcast. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Hopefully, this positive change which we discussed with you, that's gonna be help everyone to understand and accept the positive change and move forward.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Thank
Thank
you.
you.